What's going on, guys? This is Cameron of Vault Nation here. Today we're going to talk about the band Bring Me the Horizon and how they rose from deathcore to superstardom, if that's actually a word. Bring Me the Horizon is a band from South Yorkshire, England, forming 21 years ago by Ollie Sykes and Matt Nichols. Matt Nichols and Ollie Sykes had interest in metalcore bands Sky Came Falling and Norma Jean, and would regularly attend local hardcore shows. Fuck yeah, Ollie. They met Lee Malia, who drew inspiration from thrash metal and melodic death metal bands like Metallica and At the Gates, and would play drums for the band. Then they met Curtis Ward and Matt Keane. Now all they needed was a band name, which for some reason they got from a Pirates of the Caribbean movie. Bring Me the Horizon released their first EP in 2004, only putting out 1,000 copies. This was titled This Is What the Edge of Your Seat Was Made For, which at this point, Bring Me the Horizon wasn't at the top of their game yet, as you can still hear flaws in their music. This EP would go on to later be released again in 2007 by Earache Records, with a slightly better but still messy album cover and reworked but still messy tracks. They would then release their first full-length album, Count Your Blessings, which is honestly great, with songs like Pray for Plagues being just as good as anything by Suicide Silence, Whitechapel, and Carnifex. They even landed their own headlining tour of 2 bands I would probably never listen to, personally. The Blackout, and for obvious reasons, Lost Prophets. They replaced Bury Your Dead on Killswitch Engage's tour, but in turn got bottles thrown at them. Pretty hardcore shit. They would then hit the studio again recording Suicide Season, which would take the band to their first genre change. We got a lot of those in this video. Suicide Season is more of a metalcore album than deathcore, but I'm all for it as long as there's breakdowns. They played Warped Tour of 2008, did their first US headlining tour, and became direct support on I Killed the Prom Queen's final tour. Bring Me the Horizon did the Kerrang tour of notable bands like Daring Gray and Black Tide, and another tour of Cancer Bats, 4 Year Strong, and Pierce Seville. Curtis Ward would then leave the band during the tour, which turned out to be a good thing due to his negative attitude. He was replaced by Jonah of Bleeding Through, and for fuck's sake, I cannot say his last name. Curtis would rejoin for one-off performances of Pray for Plagues, but other than that, he's long gone. Bring Me the Horizon would release a remix version of Suicide Season, with producers like Skrillex and for some reason Slipknot's Sean Crayon. Whatever. Their next album, There Is a Hell. Yes, I'm shortening the title of it because it's just way too damn long. There Is a Hell would debut at 17 on Billboard Top 200 and other charts, but I just want to focus on Billboard. It's more important for this video. Did another tour of Cancer Bats and were a main support band for Bullet for My Valentine, another big metalcore band I'm sure if you're watching this video, you've heard of. Then they toured Europe with Parkway Drive, Architects, and The Devil Wears Prada. Their drummer broke his arm because Curtis Ward shot him. I'm only kidding, he was just playing football. Random drummer Dan Searle would take his place for the tour and ended up getting extended in North America with These Nuts. Not a joke. Actually a band. They toured with Machine Head, Devil Driver, and Darkest Hour. Then bad luck would strike Bring Me the Horizon when their EP was cancelled. They would then begin work on their next album, Sempiternal, which I must say, Shadow Moses and Antivis still kicks ass. Will we ever see the end? They signed with RCA, which means they're real close to becoming superstars now, being signed to the world-renowned label. They did 3 shows in 2012, one of which being the Vans Warped Tour in London. They did a set for Bullet for My Valentine for BBC Radio, and remember that EP that got cancelled? They released it after all. Shadow Moses was released as the first single, and they brought on a Worship keyboardist. Interesting. They then lost their guitarist, unfortunately, because Curtis Ward was sending him death threats. I'm just joking. At this point, Curtis had no bad blood, I think. Bring Me the Horizon was announced for several festivals, including Rock am Ring and Rock am Park. Pretty big festivals. They even played Warped Tour of 2013. Sempiternal was released in April of 2013, and Bring Me the Horizon went on a tour of Crossfaith to promote the album. They also toured in Australia with Of Mice and Men, the UK with Pierce Seville, North America with Issues, Let Live, and Of Mice and Men. They did yet another tour with A Day to Remember, Chiodos, and Motionless in White. Wonder if they found time to sleep with the schedule. They released a concert at Wembley on DVD and CD, which would now pretty much cement them as stars. Now we enter into the radio rock era of Bring Me the Horizon with That's the Spirit. They would release insane singles like Drown, Happy Song, and Throne, and Follow You. Trust me, this whole album kicks ass. If you guys have never heard Run, I highly recommend it. That's the best deep cut on the album. They would then go on the tour of Issues and Paris and release a live album from the Royal Albert Hall with an orchestra for whatever reason. We're going to move on to their album AMO, which I'm going to be honest, I don't know how you actually say the album. They relied on the use of lyrics from Mantra for promotion for the album. Mantra would be the first single released off of it, which is a good song on probably one of their weakest albums. They would then release their second single with Danny Filth, lead singer of Cradle of Filth. Strange, I know. They would then release Medicine, which in my opinion is the best song off of the album. And then Mother Tongue got released, and Nihilist Blues of Grimes. Then Sugar, Honey, Ice, and Tea. If you didn't think 6 singles was enough, try 7. Got In the Dark. Then December 27th, 2019, we have another genre change with music to listen to. Have you ever heard Bring Me the Horizon's electropop music? I still didn't. During COVID, they announced that they're back at it again after Curtis Ward tried to plague them all with COVID. Just kidding. Sorry if my Curtis Ward jokes are getting old. They released the first single off of Survival Horror, which is Parasite Eve, which is kind of an electronic metal, new metal-ish song, which is actually solid. They got Mick Gordon on production as well, which is really cool if you're into the Doom soundtrack. They released their second single with Youngblood, Obey, which is still my favorite Bring Me the Horizon song. They announced the release for Survival Horror and put out the final single, Teardrops, which is a bit more radio-friendly, but still great. They put out their album on January 22nd, 2021. Survival Horror went number 1 on the UK albums chart. The band collaborated with the pop singer Olivia O'Brien, which is cool, I guess, if you like pop. They would then release another single, Die For You, later on in 2021, which is alright, but nothing to write home about. They did a theme song for Gran Turismo 7, which is awesome, as well as being featured in previous NHL and WWE games. They did a remix of Ed Sheeran on his song Bad Habits and performed it at the Brit Awards. And at this point, Bring Me the Horizon are officially superstars, if not pop stars. If you think I'm kidding, they were featured on MGK's song Maybe, which was on the Billboard Hot 100. They did a song with Masked Wolf, bet you forgot about him. Bring Me the Horizon released a number of singles for their upcoming album, but the best of which is easily Amen with Lil Uzi Vert. They would then release their next part of the Posthuman albums with Next Gen. October 2023, they released their first single off of Next Gen, which is Dark Side, which I remember bumping every day when it came out. Time really flies, doesn't it? They would continue their trend of dropping every song as a single before the album gets released, which in turn makes me disappointed that I've already heard all the good shit when the album drops, but fuck it. Bring Me the Horizon really brought us some good shit on this one, with Dark Side, Kool-Aid, Top 10 Statues That Cried Blood. This is probably their best album to date. Then they did a cover of Wonderwall and released a lo-fi album with remixes of some of their previous work. Now they continue to fill up arenas, run their streams up, and they even headlined the entire Louder Than Life Festival, which I was there, by the way. Yeah, this was how Bring Me the Horizon rose from just a regular MySpace Deathcore band all the way up to superstars. Comment down below what you guys think of Bring Me the Horizon's success, and don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more. Catch you guys in the next one.